Hello, everybody. Welcome to Outsider Reviews. My name is Patrick, and today we will talk about GM news, about their quarterly results, as well as market analysis. So today, GM published some news about their quarterly results for Q1 of 2023. Revenue rose 11.1%, although profit margins did fall year over year from 8.2% to 6%. But that's to be expected because, well, pandemic was very profitable per vehicles for all these manufacturers. Now, GM did rise quite a bit in market shares. They now have 16.7% of the US market shares, which makes them the largest in the US. If you ask about their specific brand, how they get there, essentially Chevy has 11% of the market shares, Buick 1.1%, Cadillac around the same as Buick with 1%, and GMC with 3.7%. Year over year, the sales rose differently for each brand. Chevy had 16% increase. Buick about 40,000 more units, so about the same as Cadillac, which is they sold 40,000 units for the quarter, 29% increase, and GMC was only an 8% increase. CEO Mary Barra of GM is essentially saying they're going to be pursuing profits in affordable vehicles. And when you think about GM, depending on the terms you're looking at, affordability might be the main factor that makes you want to go for them rather than any other brand. Because if you compare, we're going to compare pickup trucks, for example. If you compare top of the line, if you compare the Ram TRX, the Ford Raptor with the Chevy ZR2 or ZR2 as we say in Canada, well, the ZR2 equally modified will be cheaper than, let's say, the Ram and the Raptor. And even if you go below these, like for example the Tremor, if you compare the Tremor to basically the Trail Boss or the AT4 from GMC, well, the GMC and the Chevrolet are both cheaper than the Tremor if they were similarly equipped. Therefore, GM has raised their price during the pandemic, but not to the extent of the other two truck manufacturers, and they still have an increase in inventory year over year. Obviously, last year being a terrible year for inventory. This year, we're seeing more inventory, and I predict that we're going to see more incentives. Now, what that means for you? Well, exactly what I just said. They're going to be aiming, the CEO Mary Barra has just pointed out, they're going to be aiming for pursuing profit and affordability. Well, you can't keep high prices and say it's affordable. So I predict that they're going to try to appeal to the masses by start either lowering prices or creating more incentives. That is my predictions. And I'm thinking if you are in the market for a vehicle, you might want to keep an eye out for some of these incentives, but you also want to compare from different manufacturers around the same trim levels. Again, if we're talking pickup trucks, well, F-150, Ram 1500, and the Chevrolet Silverado or GMC Sierra, you want to compare all three around the same engine size that you want, around the same features, and then see which one would be best. You also want to factor in manufacturer rebates, as Ram is also already offering 10, even 15% off MSRP on certain ones. Ford, we're not seeing as much rebates. They are lowering the interest. You can get 2.99% interest on a new pickup truck right now. As well as GM, they do have a few incentives, mainly Hero Program, Costco. So you want to look at all of those. Also, if you're in Canada, I suggest you go on carcost.ca. It's a website that allows you to check out, well, what's the invoice price. If some of you that don't know what invoice price means, so MSRP, that's the sticker price that you're gonna see, right? That's the manufacturer suggested retail price. Invoice price, that would be what the dealers are paying for it. So once inventory builds up enough, once they have enough inventory and they've had this inventory for a while, that's why I'm thinking more around a 2 months time frame from now, which is tax season here in Canada. After tax season, you're going to start seeing prices being a little bit more negotiable. I think they're negotiable now, but not to the extent it would be. So you should look up the invoice price, look up what the MSRP in, and try to find a reasonable level that you could be negotiating into. Now, as far as will that work, well, our next episode, I'm meeting tomorrow with Junior Timothy. He has 14 years of experience from salesman to sales manager and finance manager in various dealerships in the car industry. So not just the one. He's been around, he knows the game, and he's going to help us try to find the best advice for the consumers, which is us, the outsiders. So we are going to meet with our very own insider to try to see how we can benefit from this, when we should buy, and what brands we should look for, because not everything is made equal. Different OEMs have different levels of inventory. We all know this. For example, Stellantis Group, which owns Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, their inventory is way higher than the national average. So stay tuned for more. Like, subscribe, and press the alert notification so you know when that video comes out. And we'll see you later.